Hello students. Yes, in my last video I had explained on the introduction to investment management and what is the purpose and how we are going to deal with the investment, keeping two factors, one is risk, another one is the return. All right, and always an investor need to keep in mind that in order to create any kind of portfolio, he should make sure that it will fetch a maximum return while minimizing the risk exposure. Hope you guys are clear with the introduction as well as the purpose why investment is required. All right, fine. Moving forward, today we will discuss upon the meaning of investment from a financial viewpoint and economic viewpoint. All right, before getting into these two terms, I would like to just give a simple example on investment, how it is going to happen, right? So that investment is basically the commitment of the funds, right, through which you're going to lend or make a deposit in a very secured institution, right? For example, if I have to give in a very basic sense, depositing the money in a bank account, in order to purchase a long term government bond, or in order to invest in the equity shares of a company, right, to acquire a plot of land, a something it is like an investment you are going to make in a bank, right? So you're gonna deposit in a bank account in order to purchase the long term government bond, which is above 1 year, right, in order to invest in the equity shares of some organization. It's a kind of plot you are going to make in order to purchase a land. That's how things are going to work, right? So now coming to this particular financial sense, what does this investment talks about? See here again, here too, it's a commitment of a person, an individual, or an industry in order to fetch the return, not immediately or suddenly, which is you're going to receive in the future, right? It can be a dividend premium, whereas you have invested in terms of example, if I have to give, you have invested in form of equity shares, preference shares. You guys have learned in financial management subject, right? So what is the return you're going to get on the shares you have invested? Obviously it is dividend. So what you're going to get, you're going to get the dividend, the premium in the future, that is after certain period of time, right? So this is nothing but the capital appreciation also, it can be, right? So it can be the some of the examples like purchasing of shares, right? It's a kind of investment you have made, that is owned, right? Why it is called as investment? Because you owe it, right? The next one is the debentures. Find the post office. Next, the savings certificates, insurance policies. These are the few examples of the investments where you can make in order to generate the returns in the future. Clear? Coming to the economic sense, what does economic sense talk about? See here, it talks about the net addition of economies, capital stock. What does it talk about? What does the economic stock, where we talk about making the investments from economy viewpoint, right? So we have the examples like new constructions of the plants and machines. What is the investment you need to make in order to construct the plants and machines, in order to come up with the plant layout, where you need to set up the plant layout and come up with the inventories? What is the investment you need to pour, and what is the generation of generating of income that is going to happen? Are you able to fetch the money? Are you able to mint the money out of the investment you have made? Is it reliable? So you're going to see all such kind of factors, right? So as I made, it is nothing but a sacrifice of current money or the other resources for the future benefits. That's how you're going to see, and you're going to invest the money you have it. Example, in the basic terms, what I can give is lending money to another person. So when you are lending your money, when you are giving money out of your pocket in a lump sum amount, what is it you're going to charge in return? What it is called as interest, right? So when you are lending a money, example, you are a person, you are gonna lend it. If it's a bank, of course even bank is going to charge a standard rate of interest upon the money what it is going to lend. So interest what you're getting, is it a return? Of course it is a return, right? That's how you're going to see. Then apart from that, you like purchasing of gold, what is going to happen? You have invested your amount in the gold, whereas on today, in the year 2020, you have purchased the gold. So do you think that the value of the gold in the coming year will remain unchanged, or will it change? Of course it will change, because all these goals and all related to the value appreciation due to the factor of time value of money, time value of these materials, or the derivative instruments what we call as, it is subjected to the value appreciation. In the forthcoming year you can see the value appreciation there. All right. Then apart from that, if I have to quote any example, it would be purchase of the insurance plan. What does it talk about? See, like today, on today, the particular insurance policy, the person is going to acknowledge stating that we promise to give you the future benefits. So there's a kind of return you are going to get in the future, and all these things are not going to yield a return immediately, right? After a certain period of years, after a certain period of time, you are going to get the benefits out of the investment you have made. Clear? Then apart from that, the future incomes, like I'm talking about the future incomes, you will get so and so. What all it can be? It can be in terms of the interest, if you have borrowed any kind of loan or anything like that. And a dividend, what is dividend? If you have invested on equity shares and preference shares, upon that you will get a return which is called as dividend. Clear? What is dividend? Dividend is nothing but a portion of profit which is shared among the shareholders of the organization. Who are the shareholders? Equity shareholders and preference shareholders. When it comes to the paying hierarchy, the company always first makes the payment to the debenture holders, to the outsiders, followed by to the preference shareholders. After that, if anything is left in profit, then that will be shared among the equity shareholders. Equity shareholders are nothing but the actual owners, the owners of the organization. Clear? So the dividend is given to the shareholders of the company. Is that clear? Fine. Next, you have something called as premiums. Premiums, I told you with while quoting the example on the insurance plan. If you have taken any kind of insurance plan where the particular agency is going to promise you saying that you will get so and so benefits in the future, right? That's how things are going to work. Then purchasing of shares or debentures, right? Again, this is an investment. Fine. Then apart from that, if there's any kind of post office savings certificate, you can go for that. The insurance policies as well. Clear? So this is all about the meaning of investment from financial and economic sense. Yes. Moving forward, hope all these concepts are clear for you all. First one we have learned on the introduction. What is it all about? This is something like the overview about the topic, why we want to learn, and what is the purpose of investing, what is the motto, what is the aim, what we have to take care of while making the investments. And after that, now we have learned what's the meaning of the financial in financial view and economic view. What does investment talk about? What are the things involved in that? And I have quoted few examples also for better understanding. And what are the types of income you can expect in the future. Clear? So the next thing is we shall focus on the characteristics or nature or the features of investment. All these three are synonyms. Fine, do not panic. All these three, the characteristics, nature and features, all these three are one and the same. Fine. So we shall understand what are the characteristics, what are the important elements we need to consider as soon as we listen to the word investment. Clear? So what is this? The first one is we talk about the return, right? So what is the return is? Yes, firstly, what is return is all about? Return is nothing but, that's the main objective of anything, whatever you take up. I'll just take the simple example right from your education. If I ask you, what is your return? What is your investment? Your investment is your fees, what you have bet, the 90,000 or 96,000, right? That's your fees, that's your investment. You have made the 100%. What is your return? The knowledge, your degree, right? So that becomes your investment. But in terms of investment, when you have put, when you have invested your money into something, into some project, or in order to expand your business, what is really very important? The return, the money what you're going to get in return on the investment what you have made. Fine. See, if I say example like today I have invested in 2020, I have invested rupees 1 lakh. Fine. After 1 year I'm going to get the interest of 10% on 1 lakh rupees. So 1 lakh into 10% will give you how much? 10,000 rupees, isn't it? So this is the return I have made on the investment. My actual investment is 1 lakh rupees, but after 1 year the amount what I'm going to have in my hand is not 1 lakh but 1 lakh 10,000. The interest amount of 10,000 rupees is the return, the future income what I have fetched, what I have derived out of 1 lakh rupee investment what I made during the year 2020. Is it clear? So it talks about the return on the investment you have made. Return is nothing but, guys listen, it is nothing but the expected rate of return what you're going to get upon the investment made. Fine. This is one of the important features, because it is going to influence the pattern of investment, how you have to make. It gives a kind of idea for the investor or the industry to make. It's a kind of pattern how you have to go ahead with. Should I go for, see, I have three projects in my hands. Should I go for A? Should I go for B? Should I go for C? It is not just about the return. You should always think of the risk as well. We have a concept called as higher the risk, higher the return, right? So always you need to consider that what is the pattern. Will I be able to make the return over a period of time? You need to take care of that. And you need to make sure that whether the return, it can be in form of the dividend or the interest or a capital gain. Fine. So the return, it all depends upon the factors like the nature of investment. I've told you several times in the class what is nature of investment. Nature of investment talks about the type of investment. Whether am I going to invest in the bank, whether I'm going to invest in mutual funds, whether I'm going to invest in the bonds, is it in the debentures? So it talks about the nature, the type of the investment avenue you have chosen. Depending upon that, you have to calculate your risk and return. Based on that, you are going to take a move. Fine. Then apart from that, you need to look upon the maturity period. Is it that every quarterly am I going to get the interest, or a half yearly, or at the end of 1 year am I going to get the interest? And what's the stability of the earnings? Will this particular avenue yield me the a proper kind of effective income, or is there any kind of things that you need to take care of? Always three things matter a lot under returns. One is you need to determine the nature of investment, what kind of investment, then the maturity period, what is the duration I need to wait after making the investment in order to get the return on that particular thing. Fine. Then the last one is the stability of earnings. Will I be able to make the stable earnings? Fine. Will I be able to make out of it? Yes. The next characteristic of the investment is risk. Risk is one of the major characteristics of an investment, guys. Listen, risk and return, these two aspects, the two factors go hand in hand. It's something like commerce and management what we talk about. There's something like that, the risk and return, because risk, it's nothing but the loss of principal amount of an investment, right? In order to give you an example, I told you in my last video also, if some person, an individual, is opening a business today, then is he sure of making the profits the next day, or is he sure of making the profits in that particular commenced year? No, he has to bear, he has to undergo with the risk of loss, because he is the new person to the prevailing competitive market. right? So he needs to go, undergo the losses. That's how things are going to work. So risk is something like it can be a loss of capital. Whatever the amount you have invested, you're not sure of getting that capital back. Means I have invested 10,000 rupees on today, I'm not sure, there's a risk because I've newly entered the market, I'm not sure whether I'll be able to get my capital what I've invested or not. Here I'm not talking about the return on capital, just the capital I'm talking about. Fine. The next one is it can be delay in repayment, will I be able to get the payment or not. And non-payment of interest, I have invested in something but I have not got the interest. That's something like a risk, you're not sure whether you're going to get the interest or not. Fine. Then the variability in the returns, where due to the volatility because of two factors, inflation, deflation, there can be the variability in terms of returns. At the time of borrowing loans only you can see the bank rates, right? So sometimes like more, less, and whenever the bank rate is more, when they're going to charge the higher rate of interest, then there will be less borrowers. I won't say there will be no borrowers, of course there is a need, there will be a minimized number of people to borrow the loans. But in case if there is a lower rate of interest charged by the bank, then what's going to happen, there will be a more compared to the the people on the opposite side for borrowing at the higher rate of the interest. People here will be more because the bank will be charging lower rate of interest on the loan. So you need to look upon the variability of the returns at the time of making the investment. Then apart from that, you need to take care of the maturity period and the lower credit worthiness, where you can't rely upon that particular company or on that particular scheme or insurance policy, whatever it is, you need to take care of that. Of course it talks about the risk. Then the nature of investment, as I have told you, what kind of investment are you going to get into. Example, if I have to quote, then the equity shares usually it carries higher risk, right? And the debt debentures, the debt instruments or the bond debentures carry lower risk when compared to the equity. Why, tell me? It is because when you talk about the bonds or the debentures, no matter whether the company is able to make the profits or not, you are liable, you are solely responsible to make the payment for the debenture holders. They are the outsiders. And apart from that, one more reason is they bear the fixed rate of interest. But when it comes to equity shareholders, it's not like that. Whether if the company is able to make the profits, yes, of course it will go for declaring the dividends, or else no. For equity shareholders, no, it's not like that. But when it comes to the debenture holders or the bond holders, what's going to happen there, they bear a fixed rate of interest, right? So there is no such risk. Fine. Well, we'll study about the other characteristics in the coming video.